Hi, Katie. Welcome to the Teacher Biz podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to have you here. Katie is going to be a gift to those of you listening. She has so much wisdom to share, and I'm just really excited for this conversation.
Thank you so much. It feels like
Um,
a
so
hard road to toe, but yeah. When this is over, going to be like, holy mackerel, she does have a lot of experience.
I
It's
know
good and
you
bad.
do.
You can see both sides.
Yes, absolutely. I also love that you have built your business as a homeschool mom. So let's start there. Tell us a little bit about your experience starting your business while you were homeschooling, and how you made that work.
Okay, well, I started my business. I'm an accidental entrepreneur because I started it be in the when the economy in 2009 had a downturn. And so I basically, my husband got a large pay cut. We were starting homeschooling. My daughter, let's see, I had three kids at the time and was pregnant with the fourth. No, 2009. I had all four. Okay, we were all. I had all four kids. I'm thinking we moved into this house, got pregnant, but it was 4 years later by the time the economy went down. And so it was, we were living on one income, and his income got cut. And then we had four kids, which would be really expensive to put them into daycare and shift from me watching, help watching them, taking care of them to someone else and me going back to work. Cause I have an accounting degree. So I was an accountant before we shifted and my husband stayed home or, was working. So it was like I could have gone back to work, but we wouldn't have been getting ahead because of having all of these little kids. So we were homeschooling, living on one income, and I learned because of my math brain with accounting, I learned how to coupon. And then we were attending a mega church in our area, and I just couldn't help but tell people and share the free stuff that I was getting. So I was like, they were all inviting us to, can you come to my house and teach a couple of friends? And at one point, I went to a friend's house who was a local pastor in the area. It was his wife. And I walk into her family room and there's people there that she doesn't even know. She's like, so and so invited so and they invited so and so. So we have like 40 people crammed into this little tiny family room. And she's like, I'm a little bit uncomfortable because I don't know these people, like got too far along. And so she said, next time you do this, it needs to be at my church. And I was like, okay. And so like I showed everybody how to coupon. And then a couple weeks later, she was like, okay, Katie, since we had too many people, Katie's going to do it at our church. And there were like 150 people at that meeting. And I was like, oh boy. So I started sharing what I was going to shop for on my website, and that exploded. And then the TLC extreme couponing made it explode even further. And eventually, like 2017 and 18, it was just exhausting. I had a huge team who was, it grew and expanded to where, as a business audience, you'll understand, I had 8 million site hits in a month, page views. That's insane, right? But the problem is it was all dependent on Facebook. I didn't have SEO, so I didn't realize that searching from Google, because remember the accidental entrepreneur part. And so I didn't know what I was doing. And when Facebook shut off their reach to pages, my website traffic plummeted from millions to 50,000 in about a 2-week spread.
For
And
people
so
who
I
are new to online business and don't know the trend that Katie's talking about there, you used to be able to post things on your business page and everyone who followed you would see that thing, which wouldn't even make sense to people who are just starting their businesses now. We know like 2% of people actually see the things we post, but everyone who was following her used to see her posts and click through to her website. And then Facebook just hit that switch and it was no longer the case.
Right. I paid, that was when they started like pay to play, pay for Facebook ads. I paid $4,000 that next week to try and reach my audience and got nowhere. it did not work. And I was like, oh no, now I have to learn how to be a business owner, you know? So I learned SEO and learned what to do. Yeah, it took years. It took years. But last year, my business, 2023, my business hit $1 million in revenue. So the story does come to a conclusion where it's like, oh, she did figure it out. Okay, great. But then, so along the way, my kids were, so let's see, Annabelle started kindergarten in 2006. So 2009, she was in third grade. And then we have a trickle down because she's my oldest. So then we have Kevin, who's 2 years after her, Campbell, who's a year after him, and then Byer, who's 2 years after that. So it was preschool and like elementary and kindergarten when I started blogging on my little laptop computer on the couch after the kids went to bed. And so it was in the margins. And that was tough because I learned to live on a very little sleep. And basically, at that point in time, there weren't even smartphones yet. So to answer emails, I had to physically be home and behind my computer. And I remember we live in the same house. Now this is one of the rooms that took over as my office, but one of our smallest room, we turned into a homeschool room. And so it had like kitchen countertops and cabinets where I could put all the homeschool curriculum. Then we had a little tiny kids table, the low tables with the chairs. And so I would set each of the kids up with their things, and then I would be on the computer. And I knew I had 10 minutes before a kid would need me. And so it was just like this constant rotation of, okay, we're going to all do beading craft. We're going to all do a craft, or we're going to all do these lacing, beading things, and then having busy books for the kids. And then 10 minutes, mom gets to work on the computer and answer emails or whatever. I got really efficient, but then as the kids got older, I got lazy because it was easier. They could have more attention, and then eventually their attention span lasted longer. So then I would be able to have 20 minutes or 30 minutes and work a little bit, not quite as fast and hard and hustle, I was able to actually think through responses and stuff. And then eventually we moved to where I homeschool in the way that I teach to the oldest, and then it trickles down through the youngest. So everybody, we all 4 grades, we all did the same history at the same time. And then I would read, as a mom, I would read, the lesson, and then I would do, okay, the older kids have to do this kind of a basically writing papers or things. And then the younger kids are going to do an activity book about the same thing that we're talking about. And we read literature from whatever time history we were in. So history drove our curriculum, and we would all do it from the living room. And it just felt so funny for us. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I can be on my laptop while the kids are working right here. We don't have to have like a formal desk with everybody at their own spot so that nobody touches each other and all that jazz. It was nice to move up in ages, And then eventually I taught each of the kids. I was like, all right, each of you have to learn these computer techniques because I want you to be part of this technology generation that's learning. And now, of course, they can outdo me. I'm like going to my daughter like, all right, teach me CapCut now because I got to be on TikTok. So
I love that. Have your children helped you in your business?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. The Annabelle, especially because she's the oldest, so she's like furthest along. She has helped me make meal plans for my audience to see if they would, basically testing new products. Now I have a Confident Money Club, which is a monthly membership. And part of that club, a subset, is a side hustle group where we talk and learn, try to monetize what moms are already doing because they're working in the margins, and they need a little bit extra money to pay off the debt because that's what I help them do. I guess I didn't include that part of the story. I shifted from couponing where there were expiring deals in 2019 to using my accounting background to help people manage their money and ultimately get out of debt. And so a couple of years ago, I started a membership to where I could like more personally help people along their journey to debt freedom. And so my daughter started, she's married now. She got married in 2020 and she's got 2 kids, one on the way. And they are experiencing the tightness that I lived in because she was a teacher. She taught kindergarten and then first grade, and moved along with them for the quick 3 years that they when they started to get married, or when they got before they got married and got married. And then when she had kids, I was helping her babysit, but then she was like, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't work on my business after I babysit your kids all day. And she couldn't afford daycare, so she quit her teaching job and stays home with the kids. So now she's like, "Oh, mom, I would really like to make a little bit of side income." so, so she has started being on TikTok and becoming an influencer. And I forgot where I was going with that.
But she helps you in your business too, in your membership.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah. So she's in there answering questions about that specific influencer side of things to help as we go along.
I love that, Katie. What like an inspiration. What a great thing to be teaching your kids this skill. I mean, Katie knows I started in personal finance too, because when my husband and I got married, we had $105,000 in debt, mostly my student loans, but also, other things. And the second we paid off our debt, Katie, I did not want to talk about saving money ever again. I was like, I'm done with this. I can't talk about it anymore. I had lost all interest in that. And it's so funny. It's so funny. I love how you pivoted along the way from couponing to using your accounting skills. But it's kind of hard to sell products to people who are trying to save money and don't want to spend money. That was a hard thing for me. And I love how you have overcome that. Did you all hear that little phrase that Katie dropped in there, like quick, and then she moved on the next beat? In 2023, she made $1 million in revenue in her business. That is insane. I am so proud of you. I'm so excited for that triumph from, it's roller coastery sometimes in business, and the ups and the downs, and how you've overcome so many things and triumph in the end. Not that this is the end, but just like such a great place to go.
Well, the most inspiring part of it is that it was all low ticket. So many gurus will tell you you can reach the $1 million milestone when you're selling $2,000 programs. And I've been rejected by ads agencies, by high dollar coaches, because they wanted me to sell a $2,000 product. And I said, I can't. I won't take my mommy's vacation money that she has worked so hard to build. I refuse. I want my products, when I sell them, for them to feel like, holy crap, I can't believe I got this product for $17, $29, what, at $47, I want them to realize, like, this is my cheat to get ahead, because Katie didn't take advantage of the fact that she could charge $150 for that product, So it is a struggle with that balance of selling a product that's going to support your business, because I do have a ton of expenses, and also wanting to serve that audience that is in a tight spot right now, but help them get financially ahead. So
I completely agree with you. I think it is so much more of a triumph that it's a low ticket product that got you there, or a few low ticket products. I do think it is so much harder to hit $1 million with a low ticket product, because you need so many more customers. That means finding more people. And I love this idea of over delivering with a low price point, because then you have a customer for life. If you blow their mind at $47, of course they're going to want to come keep coming back to you.
That's exactly my strategy. Yep. You can increase how much your customer pays because you know them so well that you know what they need next. So it's like, it's just such perfect sense, because you're like, okay, get them in, wow them. And I tell them right up front, I hope that you are just gobsmacked by the fact that this is so good that then you will buy stuff again from me later. So, I don't hide the strategy.
I love that.
I'm very upfront with my audience about
You might as well tell them. Yeah, I love that. Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, you can easily say, you're going to love this so much that I'm then going to bring that level of success to you on the next thing that you need. So it's like, I'm meeting you where you're at right now, and I'm growing with you as we go. and then it's not awkward to accept money. And now, obviously, I don't sell anything that's $2,000, even $1,000, even $500. But at least along the way, they, when you've got a huge base of people, and it's like the McDonald's mentality, like you're selling low ticket things, but you've got so many people, and they all want to keep coming back and buy from you. Then you can't help but build a successful business.
Oh, absolutely. If this is what a $47 product looks like, what would a $100 product look like? I love that. I love that. And your membership must be contributing to that quite a bit too. I love a membership. Oof, that recurring income. What is the price point of your
Yes.
membership? I'm curious.
Yes. Well, I opened it up at $10 a month, which was insane. I mean, and the problem with super low ticket is that no one takes action. So for like 4 to 6 months, I felt like I was talking to a wall. I had 200 people in there, and I was like, hello, is anybody here? Because they wanted in, and they didn't take action. So I raised the price to $15 a month and got some people to speak up. I was like, this is great. But now it's settled at $29 a month. And that's because now I obviously serve them in a higher level. I analyze their budget, help them take action. Like, it's way more personal. And we have this side hustle success where you're monetizing what you're due as a mommy. Your everyday life, we're going to monetize that and get paid for that. So there's more things. But I love that price point, because then people value it and actually take action. So
I love that. Oof, feels good. Feels good to have that recurring
Yes.
income and be helping those people on a continuing basis, and just the stability that it brings to your business. Social media can do whatever they want to you, but your members are in there and you have them, and I love it.
Yeah. And when you serve them at such a level that you have to know them. Like, I mean, everybody says the first thing you have to do is know who you're talking to. And it's so true. And when you can then meet their needs and move with them, oh gosh, it's just like your best friends are there, and they love you because you're helping them. As you're helping them, it's like compounding really good. So
Love that so much.
yeah.
Let's dive a little bit deeper into this crazy number while we're talking about it. And tell us about getting to this high point in 2023. Were there any pitfalls that you fell into trying to make money in your business along the way here?
Yes, lots of pitfalls. Like you said, it's an ebb and flow, right? It goes up and it goes down. Yeah. I guess eventually I got to a point where there was a baseline that you build, and mostly because of having my email list. Currently my email list is at just almost 90,000 people. And when I got to a certain point to where, now it's tricky because you can have a ton of people but not have very much engagement, where they're not opening those emails or responding to you. And so I had to shift my strategy to focus on that subject line to get people to open, to then get people to read, to then get people to respond or click or whatever. That took several months to learn that, as well as probably one of the biggest things was figuring out that the blog post, I was chasing page views back before my business took a dive, before Facebook shut off that reach. Everything that I was posting on Facebook was like, go to the blog, go see this deal on my website, go to my website. And chasing the 8 million views, those page views, was exhausting. I was in content creation overload, hamster wheel. And eventually I realized, oh, if I can sell my own product to these people who are already on my email list, then I don't have to pay any extra. Like if you use advertising, you have to pay to reach people. And then you do have the Stripe and PayPal little transaction fees, well worth it. But like with affiliate commission, when you do affiliate partnerships and everything, you only get a certain percentage. With selling your own product, you basically get 100%. I mean, it's obviously not a full 100%, but it's close. It's the most profit you're going to get. And so I was like, oh, let's use the fact that I have these 90,000 people to make more income. So, some specific pitfalls along the way would basically be learning how to reach out to my audience effectively in order to get those people to buy, learning how to launch, learning what my audience responds to and who I serve, because in the industry, like everybody, it feels like, oh, people will say, oh, this is exactly how you have to do. You have to do a flash sale, 3 days, every 4 weekends. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I figured out the formula. And I'm like, okay, so I would try them all. And eventually I was like, my mommy doesn't even open her email on the weekend. So if I'm doing a flash sale for 3 days, when they see it on Monday morning, the sale's over. If I did it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so it does no good. And the only way I figured that out was by listening when people would reply and say, I missed the sale. They would reply weeks later, like, I would have loved this, but I missed it. So I figured out, oh, I need to make my launches longer. Let's extend it and increase my pre-launch. So I am either in pre-launch mode or launch mode. Like if you get my emails, they're either leading you to my launch or launching and asking you to buy. Like there's no there's no other strategy there. And they're long. So I'll take 6 weeks to pre-launch and then launch for 16 days, 18 days, a long time, so that then everyone gets a chance. And my launches are like 5 figures. So
Tell me what that looks like. If you're launching for 16 days, are you sending an email every day for 16 days, more than one a day? What does it look like for you?
And the first day will be 1 or 2 emails, usually on the day. I always send my email out on Thursday mornings. So
Okay.
Thursday morning, and then I'll send a little reminder Thursday night, like, hey, the sale just started. That's always like a really high day of sales. And then it depends. It really honestly depends how I feel when I'm writing the emails. Like, do I need to do one every single day? I used to do every single day. Now I've gotten where I'm like, well, I'll skip a couple days because not everyone can see every email.
Hmm.
So, so I can't say like you should definitely send an email every single day. but pay attention to how it feels. Like, does it? I mean, here's the hard thing. I always felt like I was bothering my audience. And I shifted that to feeling like these launch emails are also teaching them something. They're really valuable. Like for them to open them is, if they open every single one, they're learning something and getting good information. It's not just like, hey, buy this, hey, buy this. It's always either a story from a customer, so there's nuggets to glean out of there, or I mean, I guess the last day is the day when I'm like, all right, this is the end. Here's the bullet points. You want it or not? Like, are you in or not? And obviously that's always a high sale day because of the urgency that the sale's going to be over.
I
So
love that.
so
Let's
I've done
highlight
it
what
both ways.
Katie just said there. She's used to feel like she was bothering her people, which is what I think a lot of my listeners feel like now when they email. And she shifted that to realizing that she's bringing them value. She's helping them. Her emails will help them, even though she's selling in those emails. And goodness, like we just talked about how much you over deliver in your products. So if they do purchase, you're helping them even more.
Exactly.
Where are your people coming from? How are you getting your products in front of your people these days?
I'm very dependent on Facebook advertising. Love Facebook advertising. Also, I don't do anything on Pinterest. I've never been able to gain ground on Pinterest. Even back when Pinterest was like what everybody was saying, I just couldn't ever gain ground. So now I'm just starting to branch out into TikTok and learn TikTok advertising. So most of my, like, if you look at my site hits, they come from Google and SEO, which then people opt in to my freebie. And then there's a welcome nurture sequence where they buy in that. And then from Facebook advertising, I don't do any freebies. I only do buyers. so they buy my product and then they come into a launch nurture sequence where they are, depending on what they bought with my order bumps and upsell, they are asked to buy other products eventually. And then you can't find my Confident Money Club from my any of my main channels at this point because I'm so protective of it. Like I only want people in there who are serious, you know? And so that strategy might change, but for right now, once, you know, I mean, I can tell your audience, okay, you can go to confidentmoneyclub.com, but typically, if you're just like looking at like, hey, Katie, I want to reverse engineer your funnels, you're not going to find that anywhere because it's hidden behind the scenes at this moment in time.
That is so interesting. I'm over here with my membership on the back end of every single funnel I have. You purchase a product, you get a chance to join the membership. But mine is much, much less hands-on. So I love that you're being so selective of your people.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dive a little bit into that. Tell us what your funnel does look like on the outside. This is interesting to me that you're running Facebook ads only directly to a product because I am, you know, so in love with my freebie trip ads and I can't stop with those because I want the leads. But you have so many leads coming in from your website, which I don't have at all. So tell us about what your funnel does look like.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so if you just take the Facebook advertising, then basically what I discovered with personal finance people is that if they don't buy a low ticket, I'm asking for $17, you know what I mean? $29. Like we're not talking, they don't have to sacrifice an entire meal eating out. It's not gonna majorly impact their grocery budget, you know, not so when they come in, I don't want tire kickers. I don't want at this moment in time. It's just like I've analyzed the people who come in with a freebie and when they buy and the percentage of people who buy that tripwire immediately, and it's very low versus someone who I'm advertising and I'm like, hey, this will help you. And it is $29. Do you want it or not? You know? And then when they come in from that, they're in a different heart posture of, I've already committed to buying this and now I need to make it work. And then when you get to know me from my welcome sequence because you've bought something and now I want to prove to you that it'll work and that you'll love me, that we're going to be best friends because the pixel is magical. And basically everyone who buys is a Christian cat loving coffee drinking mom. So like it's very easy because like, hey, we're best friends and you don't even know it. The Facebook pixel determined that you're my best buddy. And so then once we get to know each other, which is like my welcome sequence emails, then I'm just about to shift this to slightly different to where I'm going to do a challenge because I want them to really take action for 5 days before they get into my Confident Money Club. So I'm just shifting to, hey, if I help you with your budgeting, managing your money, with your budgeting, managing your money, getting out of debt in record time, like the average person that I help is in around $40,000 to $50,000 of debt, and they're out of that in 18 months. Like it's shocking. Like what? A girl the other day was in $95,000 worth of debt. No student loans, no mortgage, and no car. This is just consumer debt, $95,000. And she was hopeless. She's like, I am embarrassed. I'm full of shame, guilt. How did this happen? And I'm like, all right, well, we can't change the past. So let's just remove the shame and the guilt and let's form a plan to get out of it. And the plan is 4 years. Like she'll be out of debt before her child hits high school, I think. It was incredible. And I'm like, I wish everyone knew that it didn't have to be this hard and this struggle. So anyway, and then I also have like several other programs to help with faith, where faith and your finances come together, faith activated finances, as well as building a savings account quickly. Like in 30 days, I need you to have $500 in that savings account so you stop using credit cards. So when you've come in somewhere from buying something, then you're having success already. So then I'm like, all right, let's funnel everybody from there into a 5-day challenge to then see if they would like to take it personal and like have me set up your budget, have me look at, I call it a spending audit, where we're actually just taking a snapshot of your money and going, these are the, I didn't realize that people don't understand what their needs and their wants are. And so I'm like, I can tell you that like in a second. So just tell me what you're spending on it. I'll tell you if it's a need or a want and where it goes and how it fits into helping you reach your financial goals. And I'm like, I just started doing that for people in my club. And I really honestly didn't think people would need to know that. I thought they'd be like, yeah, Katie, we already know that. That's all you talk about. And so I'm like, hey, would you like me to create a spending audit for you? And unbelievable amount of people were like, yes, I don't want to know, but I want to know. Yes, please tell me so that I can reach my goals faster. I know it's like a tearing off a band-aid. Yes, please tell me. And so the feedback I'm getting is like, they had no idea. The little things that are normal to me are life-changing for them, light bulb moments.
I hear
And
this
then
all
they
the
have a
time from my
goal.
students. People just take for granted the things that they know, and they think if I know this, then everyone else must already know this, and so it's not special.
Yes.
And my goodness, the things that you know that are your gift are so special to someone else who does not know those things. So please learn from Katie there.
Yes. 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 And what's interesting is we really, this kind of goes along the lines of imposter syndrome. We think, oh, somebody else has we're so critical of our own knowledge, and we think somebody else has said it better, someone else has done it better, it's already been out there, it's like, and we need to tell it to our person our way. So when my mommy comes to me and she's overspent and overexhausted and just trying to get through the day, and needs that encouragement and how to do these things, if I can do it for her, because I thrive on the numbers. Like when someone sends, so they fill out a form and it sends me their budgeting numbers, and one of the questions we ask on the form is like, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you want me to do? And I'm baffled that that magic wand moment is so simple, because to me, I'm like thriving on just adding up these numbers. I'm not reading into what you're buying. I'm not judging you for having Netflix. Like I fully believe in rewards. Everyone needs fun money and guilt-free money in their budget. But and so the things that they're worried about are like almost actually they're giving more power to something that doesn't need to be given power. Like even the whole fact of having $95,000 worth of debt to me is like, I don't know. We bought a website app that was more than my first home. It was $80,000 for this app. And then we had to pay $250 a month to have it. This is for couponers. Okay. And so I'm like, you're in $95,000 worth of debt and you probably got stuff you used on it. Like that might have been the only way they were to stay alive, because a lot of times people have had no income at all and then had to use credit cards to fill in the gap. And I'm like, let's not feel guilt and shame over that. Let's just recognize it's just a monthly payment that's about to go away in 3 years, or 4 years. So totally, I thrive on seeing those numbers and being able to formulate a plan for someone to get where they want to go.
I love that. You're such a perfect fit for your people. I get that feeling that your people have. I think as a mom, especially a mom of like young, needy children, which is where mine are right now, we just want someone to do something for us so we don't have to do that thing, right?
Yes, 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 yes,
Definitely.
definitely.
I love how you know them so well and you know what they need. It's just beautiful. So many of my students, so many people I talk to, which our audience here, of course, is just like people who are teachers who want to start an online business, kind of similar to your mommies who want to start their side hustle. And, teachers don't get paid that much. So we want to look to level up our income too.
Mm-hmm.
But they
Yes.
have this deep imposter syndrome. And like half of the time, that is the thing that holds them back, because they don't want to put themselves out there. And they're so afraid of someone judging them or, whatever it is. They'll sound silly. I wouldn't be on a recording for years and years because I hated my voice, and now I have a podcast. but
Yes.
it just like
Yes.
holds us back so much. And what would you say to them, who are struggling with imposter syndrome and want to put themselves out there, but then they don't because they're afraid? I know we've both been there.
Yes.
So what would you say to them?
Yes. Yes. Well, okay, you know how like our fingerprints, we each have a unique fingerprint, right? I mean, it's so crazy to think. It's incredible that that's our identifier, you know? Like if you go to the police station and they take your fingerprints, no one else has one like you. And your story is also unlike anyone else's, and it's going to reach someone else who needs to hear it. They need to hear that what you have been through or you are going through, they're not alone. So if you can just back out of the fact that, yes, it's vulnerable. It is scary. I was on TV for 6 years, 2 segments, never watched myself. Finally took one glimpse at myself and I was like, whoa, I got to go on a diet. I have got to lose 60 pounds right away. And I don't like my voice either. We are all our worst critic. And would you ever say those things that you're saying to yourself, that you're thinking to yourself, would you say those to a friend? Because I know that I would have never said to my friend, girl, you got 4 chins, you got to lose 60 pounds. And that's what I was saying to myself. That's just mean, you know? And so, I mean, first of all, comparison, well, I mean, Eleanor Roosevelt said comparison is the thief of joy, right? And it is 100%. That's true. But also, I don't believe that competition exists. I think that that's a lie. And that anyone who's in who you're looking at going, oh, they're further along than me. Oh, they're doing better than me. Oh, they're selling more than me. Like that is just to keep you stuck and to keep you small. And you can't say that you won't explode faster and surpass them because you don't know the future. And right now I'm growing on TikTok. I don't even think I have 100 followers yet. And I'm looking at friends of mine who are in the same niche as me. And I'm like, wow, they've got hundreds of thousands of followers. What have I been doing for 2 years? You know? And you know what? I could choose to look at that and think I'm so much further behind, all these negative things. I can't even think of them because I refuse to think of them. And instead, when those negative thoughts pop in, I think, look at how much opportunity I have. Like if someone else in this personal finance niche has 1 million followers, I can get 1 million too. That fills me with hope because it is validated what the passion that I have and want to have. It's validating it that I can get paid for my passion too. So it's little tiny shifts in how you're thinking about it. And along to get like super practical with being vulnerable and open and exposing yourself and not wanting people to make fun of your voice or say you're fat or whatever it is. When you think about exposing yourself, whatever it is that you choose to talk about is only one little teeny tiny area of your life. Like it's hard for me to dig deep because we've been out of debt since 2019. So like I have to think, what was it like? What was I struggling with? What were all the things? That's one little area that I show. I also am a homeschool mom, am an entrepreneur, I'm a wife. My husband's a Jeep fanatic, so I could say I'm like a Jeep wife. He wanted me to do a TikTok on being a Jeep wife because they're a different breed. Like it's a whole obsession that my husband has with his Jeep. I cook, I'm a baker. I love to bake. I hate to cook. There's you as a person have all of these areas. And so you feel like, oh, if I open up, they're going to see all these things. But really and truly, you're going to dig deep on one little teeny tiny part of your life. I could go on and on and on for days and talk about my cats. I have 4 cats. I love them. They don't love me back as much as I love them. I have way more pictures of them on my phone than my own children. Like I could do a whole cat channel. So if you think of it as I'm not exposing my whole life to everyone, even though it feels like I'm about to, I'm only doing this one little part. And if you can stay focused on what that is doing to help someone else, like for me, I so badly want everyone to be out of debt and have that freedom of being able to take your money and spend it where you want. That keeps me from quitting. from stopping and allowing my message to keep going. So I just stay super focused on, okay, what other way can I say this to help somebody get out of debt? Because they've got to stop overspending. They've got to, hone in track what their actually expenses are, like all of those little teeny tiny nitty gritty things. And then you tend to get over yourself. It's like, well, sorry, it's not about you. I mean, you're the vehicle. And yes, your voice that you hate to hear is what's going to help somebody else. But let's just focus on the message, because it doesn't matter how you deliver it, whether you're overweight or skinny, whether you hate your voice or love your voice. The message is what matters the most.
That's exactly what I say to people, Katie. Stop focusing on yourself so much. Focus on that person that needs to hear from you and how you can help them. And once you do that, I mean, I think the real way to get over it is to hear the feedback from the people that you've helped. When someone tells you that your product changed their life, you can't help but feel confident about it. So you just have to get to that point by putting yourself out there and focusing on them and your message, like Katie's telling you to, instead of yourself so much. Get over yourself.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yep.
So many people struggle with that. And you know what else they struggle with, Katie, which I love that you talked about, how there's not this competition, how we're all like, and I think most of us online business owners are just cheering for each other. If I see someone's ad pop up in my feed that's a competitor of mine, like I'm cheering them on. I'm not feeling bitter about it because I know that I can do it too. But so many of my students, especially, when they're just starting out, if they see an ad or a post or anything of a product that's kind of similar to this idea that they're having, their next thought is, I shouldn't do this because it's already out there in the world from someone else in some way. And it's just crazy pants. Like, of course you should. Of course yours is different. So I love that you're talking about that too.
Good. Yeah, it's true. It's really easy to get stuck into that competition. And I can tell you, being a coupon blogger, when a deal pops up, everyone is clamoring to be the first one to post that deal. There's only one way to talk about a deal. So it's like, this is the price, this is the coupon, this is the ultimate price. Like, no one has a unique spin on how to say that you're buying this. So there was a huge feeling of competition within the deal niche, or coupon bloggers. And so when I shifted to have evergreen content, to where I was like, let me help people with how to spend their money so they don't have to be dependent on coupons. I realized, there's a whole world of bloggers who actually support each other, who love when you get a success, they get a success. Like, it's us personal finance people against the world, which is not true either, because then you've got shoulder niches, where your mommy, who has all of those, is a cat lover too. You can go partner with the cat audience and go, hey, does your cat audience need to learn how to budget their money better? Or do you think they're in debt because they're buying cat robots that are $600, litter robots that are $600? And then you realize, oh, the whole online community is in this together. And when that feeling of limitation pops in, you have to switch it to say, I'm really glad that they're doing this, because that means I can do it too. If they're doing advertising for a debt program, that means that they're willing to spend money on it. It might work for my debt program too. And your debt program is going to be so different from their debt program that you're going to talk a different way. You're going to meet different needs, that it totally doesn't even matter. It's a non-issue, because the way they do something is totally different than the way you do it, even though you're selling the same thing. It's incredible. It's just incredible once you can get past that mindset shift, that you are unique for a reason and you serve a unique person for a reason, and they need you.
I agree so much. While we're asking you for advice, I have one more thing that I'd love for you to share advice on.
Okay.
Because I know we have homeschool moms listening who want to take that step and start an online business, and they're just not sure how to fit it in their day and make it all work. So you shared how you did it, but what would you say to a homeschool mom who's just starting out in their online business about how to make it work?
So, I mean, I'm gonna fall back to a proverb that's probably been overused, but the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, right? And the second best time is today. And like, you are here for such a time as this. There is this is oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. It is perfect timing for, like, even let's say that you're like 70, right? Oh, well, no. Okay. Your audience is younger. So let's say that you're just starting to grow your family, right? So you've got littles who need you in the middle of the night. So you cannot possibly have be up all night playing on the computer. So you're doing it throughout the day. They're taking their nap, or you have an hour of VeggieTale time they're watching they're watching Daniel Tiger, and you've got your laptop right there, and you're able to do a few little tiny things. Probably you would want to make a list of those things so that you had your priorities, and you could go, okay, the next priority that I got to work on is this. You got to stay slightly more organized than the rest of us who aren't juggling. Yeah, there you go. who aren't juggling their littles the same way. And I would say that, like, your message and what you're dealing with right now is so important for the same people who are going through the same thing right now. And there's billions of them. And social media with TikTok and Facebook and Pinterest has allowed those distances to become really, really small so that they can find you. Because if you're just brave enough and have courage to say, here's what I'm doing to fix this. Here is exactly what I have done to fix this. Right now, I have all adult children, so they're all in college, and we're in a different phase where my husband and I are now starting to prioritize travel. Yay, we want to go travel. Like, we haven't been able to do this for 25 years, 20 years since we've had children, started growing, since we've been growing our family, And so I'm like, wow, I really want to keep my house clean now. Like, it's possible to not have toys all the time on the floor, be stepping on Legos and all this stuff. And so I'm like, I've decided that I want to hold short account. I'm like, after we have a meal, I actually wipe down we have a gas stove. And so I wipe down the gas stove. Never done this in my life. I've always left it for the day when, one day a week, I deep clean the kitchen. And now I'm like, I want my weekends to be able to travel. So I don't want to have that weekend day of cleaning. So instead, I'm cleaning my, keeping short account with every time I make a meal, which is every day, because I'm a personal finance frugal crazy person. So in that sharing that story, it makes those same people who are in my same season of life resonate. They can't help but relate because they're going through the same thing. And so, homeschool mommy or mom of littles that's just starting to build your business, whatever it is that you're going through or have just gone through that you're going to help someone with, just own it as soon as you possibly can and say, here's what I am doing to fix it. Here's what I am doing. Here's what I just did. I just figured out that I can clean my stove after every meal, and now my kitchen feels so good when I walk in for the next meal. Like it's life changing, I joined a gym, and I've been exercising, and I've been telling my daughter about it. She's like, Mom, you have to start a TikTok channel just on your fitness journey. And I'm like, ooh, I feel a little naked. Like, I don't want people to see this. And she's like, but Mom, your stories are hilarious, because I'm on the remedial plan of the gym, right? Like, she says to me, I want you to do sit stands. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really fancy. I get to do sit stands. You know what it is? She says to me, don't go to the high weight bench, go to the lower, shorter weight bench. And I'm like, okay. And then I get to step over it and sit down. And she goes, no, you're not just sitting, you're sitting with purpose. I'm like, what? Step over it and sit down. I only have to do 10 of these. I'm like, so I think I'm doing like this big, like, oh, I'm at the gym lifting weights, I'm going to get fit, right? Nope. Katie's job is to step over the bench and sit down, because basically I just haven't had enough movement in my life over the past 10 years. So I start this TikTok channel, and the first video gets almost 1,000 views. I'm like, you're kidding me. And it's because it's so relatable. Because if I'm willing to show that little part of my life where I do these silly stretches and things, people want to see you. They want to see your side of it. They want to see your story, and they want to see how you live through it and what success you do. Save them the time and energy, and just share it like you would share with a friend.
I love that. Here, Katie, be relatable. That sounds like your next $1 million business right there because just so spot on. There's people that need to hear from you. I love it. I love that you're putting yourself out in that
Thanks.
way. So many nuggets of wisdom in this conversation. I hope my people
Oh,
are taking
good. I'm
notes.
so
I love
glad.
it so much. Katie, what are you working on right
Excellent.
now? Well, you just told us about your new TikTok. Anything else besides that?
Yeah, you can go find me at True Katie. Comment on my silly exercise videos and make me feel good that I'm just doing these sit stands and thinking that I'm a super fitness star when actually I'm just trying to get healthy. Um, and then if you need help with your personal finances, you can find me at truemoneysaver.com. Or if you want more personal help for a really low monthly price, check me out at confidentmoneyclub.com.
Thank you, Katie. I am so glad to
You're
have you here
welcome.
today and to be able to share you with my people.